Hello and welcome to Rennthusiast, my YouTube channel on Porsche ownership. And given that the channel's about Porsche, you may be asking yourself, why are you standing in front of a Toyota Landcruiser? I'm a little bit of a closet Toyota nerd, namely like vintage Toyota. This is a 1993 Toyota Landcruiser. They call it the 80 series, and I have recently seen some press, some content talking about how this 80 series, this particular generation of Landcruiser, is basically the Toyota equivalent of the 993, which is the last of the air-cooled. You know, I've never featured this truck on the channel only because it's not really about Porsche, and generally when I publish content that's not Porsche content, it doesn't do well. But I've had viewers asking me to review the truck. So I don't know, man. I sometimes think any content's good content, so here we go. This is the second 1993 Toyota Landcruiser that I have owned. I owned an emerald green example that was very clean. I owned it for about 2 years. I bought it out of the Pacific Northwest, which is, by the way, a secret treasure trove of good examples of these Landcruisers. But I owned that car for about 2 years. I listed it for sale several times, and each time I listed it, I got cold feet and I pulled the ad off as soon as I started getting a bunch of leads. Finally decided to make a move and let go of it. And at the time, it was really a storage issue, and frankly, it was a huge mistake to sell it. But I listed it right during early COVID, and I ended up selling it to a guy out of Nashville for like 25 grand. So dude flew in with 25 grand cash, handed me the cash, did the title work, and rolled out fast because he knew that I had conflicting emotions about selling the truck. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I deeply regretted selling that Landcruiser, so I commenced to search for another one, and I found this one. This particular example took me almost 2 years to find. If you're familiar with these trucks, you know that many of them are just ridiculously high mileage. Many of them have been rusted through. Many of them have been like modified and ripped apart and put back together. And so for me, and you'll know this about me if you've been watching my channel, I really value, original, period correct examples, which is exactly what this truck is. It's what I would say is 90% original paint. The front fender has been painted, although I feel like paint match is very, very good. By the way, I've got a passenger in here. This is my lady friend Meredith, and so she agreed to just kind of hang while I shot this video. So 93 is, in my view, the best year of the Toyota Landcruiser 80 series, and the reason is it has the better motor. 91 and 92, the motor was weak. So in 93, Toyota introduced I think it's the 1SZE motor, and that motor has a lot more power than the previous 2 years. So the 93 is great for that reason. It also has the Toyota Script grille. The alternative in the later 80 series is what they call sombrero grille, and I'll throw some B-roll up of that right now. I personally prefer the Toyota Script because I just think it's much more kind of, I don't know, what do I say, plain, simple. I just like the look of the front end. So another reason that I think 93 is the best year, or one of the best years, is because you still have this kind of, this analog, if you will, truck-like dash, right? So I think it was 94 or maybe 95, they started incorporating a boxier, more luxury sport utility vehicle look with the dash. And I just prefer, for me, I'd much rather have that old school trucky vibe inside. And so that's why I like the 93. Another reason it took me so long to find this particular example is I was hell-bent on getting this cloth interior. There is no better interior, I think, than 80s and 90s Toyota cloth. I mean, if you look at this, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, it looks brand new. This car was an original owner car from the date it was manufactured until 2018. And then there was a man who bought it from the original owner, who was reportedly an older lady that simply used this truck to drive back and forth to her country club. She didn't have any kids, and based on the state of this truck, I would believe that. And what's cool is, there is the sticker for the country club that she drove it to. So something I neglected to mention to you is that I did find this car in the Pacific Northwest. So again, if you're looking for something like this, that's where you want to be looking. The back end of these trucks, man, I mean, it just has that iconic safari utility look that I don't know, for me, it just does something for me. It's got these safari windows, which I think are just killer. This tailgate that, of course, you got to sit on if it's open. It's got your fold away third row, which I don't know, I never would use that. Previous owner too put these mats in here. This is kind of like the default what you want if you have one of these Land Cruisers. Pardon these car covers. These are like car covers from Porsches of years past. Should probably list them for sale. Something else that's very interesting about this example is that the motor was rebuilt. So these trucks had a head gasket issue in this particular example. The head gasket blew, I think, about 20,000 miles ago. So this is a fully rebuilt motor. This truck has 202,000 miles on it. I think this engine has, now that I think about it, 20,000 miles on it. But the dude who did the rebuild, I'll show you some B-roll of the documentation. I mean, you're talking about meticulous. I mean, it's a 3-inch binder, and it has pictures of the motor out, all this kind of stuff. And really, I mean, it's what you want if you're looking for any sort of vintage car. These Land Cruisers were designed to go, I think, 25 years in third world countries before they needed a rebuild. There's a ton of redundancy in here. So by way of example, you know, there's not one, but there's two serpentine belts in there. There's like 2 starters. I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not super familiar with a lot of that stuff. But the bottom line is there's a lot of redundancy so that you don't get stuck out in the middle of nowhere. So that's it. 93 Toyota Land Cruiser. Love it. This car actually presents a little bit of a conundrum for me. It is currently living in my driveway under a cover plugged into a tender. I can't put it in the garage. I have too many freaking Porsches in there, but I also just can't bring myself to sell it. So there you have it. Hope to see you next time.